Hi everyone, my name is Marc Pilkington. I'm a fellow of the British Blockchain Association. I'm associate professor of economics at the University of Burgundy in France. That's one of my two nationalities, French and British. And I was living in Far Eastern Europe. Can you hear me well? Is this sound okay?
Yeah.
But I'm being reinstated my French position soon. Okay, so yeah, and I authored a JBBA paper on medical tourism and blockchain
Yeah.
3 years ago. So first, if just want to frame the discussion, we're looking at the intersection between blockchain technology and healthcare. And of course. So I'm not, just a disclaimer, I'm not a healthcare professional at all. I started researching blockchain like some 10 years ago, exploring various use cases. And healthcare just happened to be one of them. And I found it really extremely interesting. So please forgive me, I'll be indulgent because I do not have some of the specialized knowledge that some of the distinguished guests have on this panel. Okay, so the urgency for blockchain in healthcare. Why now? According to the World Health Organization, we live in very fragmented systems. So 30% of medical errors are likely to stem from what we call data silos, so very fragmented data systems. Medical tourism is one of the areas I have explored, investigated, is morphing into a 100 billion industry, but with huge trust deficits when it comes to cross-border care. When it comes to patient demand, so according to different surveys, here's one distinguished guest, a patient rate survey, 80% of patients want control over the health data, which I think makes sense. So what is the value of blockchain here? It provides immutable records, tamper-proof EHRs. It actually disintermediate the fields, and the fields are a patient-provider direct trust between the stakeholders. And something that I think we're going to talk about is tokenized incentives. So what does it mean that we are tokenizing research or tokenizing medical research? Tokenization turns research into a collaborative, patient incentivized ecosystem. We have a wide range. Well, we have different projects like the Melody projects, pharma giants sharing AI drug discovery data on the blockchain, patient tokens rewarding data contributions. So we have the Cure Dollar, the Cure Coin trials as a flagship example. The impact is great. 50% faster clinical trial recruitment and 30% cost reduction in R&D. So we are slowly moving towards patient-owned health data. So the patient model that I just mentioned, data monetization, which is a growing trend. So patients are going to license anonymized data for research and through crypto payments. We have evidence that through different, like a group of pilot hospitals, that this will decrease by 40% data breaches in the sample study sample. Okay, so one of the areas that I researched was medical tourism. I call that medical tourism 2.0, and actually blockchain is going to fix some pain points. I have a slide afterwards on Moldova, but you know, a lot of hospitals in emerging countries are going through a process of accreditation on chain. So MedPark in Moldova is one of them. Another example, another country where I spent time is Albania, which was a kind of pioneer in terms of blockchain legislation in the Balkan regions, allowing for crypto settlements, avoiding the Forex fees. And my distinguished colleague before mentioned the issue of portability. EHR, are going to follow patients across borders, and that is very, very useful. So I mentioned that hospital, which is a private hospital in the Republic of Moldova. GCI accredited care coupled with Ethereum-based patient records has resulted in a 30% faster onboarding for international patients. So the learning lesson here is that accreditation combined with DLT is a trust multiplier for these emerging economies such as Moldova. Now, another country I mentioned was Albania. I told you it was a bit of a pioneering country. First crypto licensing law a couple of years back, 2020. Trying to adopt the PSD2 legal framework, enabling digital payments in the regions. Considering a wide range of issues, one of them being scalability and alignment with AML and CFT requirements. So why do we need tokens in healthcare in the first place? So the idea, I think, is really to go beyond the currency use case, the cryptocurrency, payment systems. And so we now have a full-fledged typology of tokens. So we've got access tokens. We can grant EHR permission. Sorry, we know we're talking about very sensitive confidential data, MedRec. You're familiar with this, using permissioned blockchains. Then we have research tokens, and I think that is very, very, very interesting. We are trying here to incentivize the sharing of data. I mentioned the example of KillCoin earlier. And then even one step further are the governance tokens. So take the model, the template of the DAO, for instance, and then you can have DAO for patient advocacy groups. So all this, we're moving way, way beyond the currency use case, sorry. Okay, so I'm sure some of you, I don't know, had some discussions with Dr. Professor Nassim. Blockchain alone has a certain number of limitations, and I believe that future architectures are likely to combine things such as AI, blockchain, of course, IoT, AI diagnostic trained on tokenized health data, IoT device, tamper-proof logs. You've got the vaccine temperatures on the hash graphs as a flagship example, smart contracts, which my colleague mentioned earlier, auto payouts for clinical trial participation. Now, where do we go from now? We could, like every country needs to have a roadmap, but because we're looking at one specific industry here, we need to think in terms of a global roadmap. So here it's just, a rough outline, 25, 26. We need to standardize health data interoperability through the W3C verifiable credentials. 27, 28, scale tokenized research consortia. That could, for example, Deborah, Nassim, be led by BBA working groups. And in 2029, we are likely to have full-fledged patient-owned data economies. And why not some data NFTs, and that is coming very, very soon, just a few years from now, okay? So I'll finish with a call to action, talking about the providers, about the GPs, the doctors, pilot MedRec style EHRs, bearing in mind that the interoperability constraint is paramount, okay? The regulators are likely to adopt sandbox approaches, like in the UK, the FCA. The patients, there's a demand for sovereignty, data ownership. It's your health, it's your blockchain. Okay, conclusion. Sorry if I've been a bit too long. Blockchain is shifting healthcare from institution-centric to patient-centric paradigm. So this is really my conclusion today. I'm really grateful for this, online meeting that we're having, forum, because we really need to work together. One very important initiative is the JBBA special issue, tokenized healthcare economies, coming soon. Maybe Deborah, Nassim, you will talk about it afterwards. And then we could have probably maybe a blockchain track for healthcare on the occasion of the next International Scientific Conference in 2026. Okay, I'm done with my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, everyone. I hope I was not too boring. And okay, next thing. Thank you.
Never boring, Mark. Never boring. And thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, very, very strong common themes running through both of our speakers' conversations.